G'day fellow gents and gentlettes, are you ready to embark on another adventure? We already uncovered all the secrets from when Jumanji first arrived. Now let's begin our quest, this time with the journey into the other side of the game. With everything you missed in Jumanji, welcome to the jungle. Good luck adventurer, Jumanji needs you. G'day fellow gents and gentlettes, are you ready to embark on another adventure?
Spoiler ahead, don't complain or you'll end up dead.
A game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind.
A gift card so divine that only one can find. Locate these eggs inside, then comment where they abide. Only one lucky adventurer of the quest will take home all the loot inside this chest. Back in 1996, Jumanji left us alone on a beach, and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle picks up where it left off. Well, at least it picks up on a beach. From the fact that the two girls were speaking French, probably it's not the same beach. The biggest character in the game, and possibly the one with the most Easter eggs, is Dr. Smolder Bravestone. And not only is he known across 7 continents for his courageous exploits, he also is known in our world as well. Dr. Smolder Bravestone was played by Dwayne Johnson, or DJ, or The Rock. And DJ is a huge fan of Harrison Ford and for the roles that Harrison played in Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Thus, adventurer, if you navigate your eyes to Dr. Bravestone's belt, you will see it has a similar design, in fact modeled after Han Solo's gun belt. Then if you travel to the right of the buckle, you will see the belt is partially made up of none other than PlayStation controller buttons. The grappling hook that Bravestone uses resembles a lot of the character Nathan Drake from Uncharted 4 uses. Just like Bravestone, Nathan Drake likes to use the grappling hook to get around. In case when you watch the movie, if you were still getting popcorn and you missed the first 5 seconds of the movie, it says that SONY owns the movie. They are also the owners of PlayStation. When you are in Spencer's bedroom, we see all sorts of SONY treasures, like for example a $1,000 SONY phone, Uncharted 4, a SONY video game, a SONY PlayStation, another SONY PlayStation, and a wall of PlayStation games with only a small handful of Xbox games. This is what's called subliminal marketing at its finest, convincing your subconscious mind to think that PlayStation has way more games that you want to play than Xbox. The Last Guardian poster, also a SONY game. A poster with a PlayStation controller in case you haven't played PlayStation yet. And even though young Spencer is trying to type a report with both hands on the keyboard, in the very next shot he's waving a PlayStation controller in your face. In case you're missing the connections here, young adventurer, SONY wants to play with you. Who needs Beat headphones when you have SONY headphones?
Can't see the logo? Don't worry, they'll fix that.
Of course, my personal, non-sponsored opinion is that Bose makes the best headphones on the planet. Unlike all the other SONY advertisements, Uncharted 4 isn't plastered in the movie just to promote SONY's gaming empire. It's also because Henry Jackman is the musical composer for the video game. This matters for the movie because if you browse the credits, you will see the composer for Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is none other than Henry Jackman. Of course, the boombox is also made by SONY. Not surprisingly, we see one of the most aggressive advertising companies in sports manage to find its way in the movie. Virtually everyone is sporting Nike. So next time you think you love Nike, stop and ask yourself, do you love Nike? Or did someone tell your subconscious mind that you love Nike?
Is there a seatbelt?
Speaking of belts, yes, there's a seatbelt. And in fact, it's in the same exact spot of every other vehicle on the planet.
Thanks.
1, 2, 1, 2. You could learn a lot from a dummy.
I bet he's the type of guy that needs to know how to buckle up on an airplane.
Who are you?
Nigel Billingsley at your service. Ruby Roundhouse.
Who are you?
Smoldering intensity.
Don't worry, young explorer, there's more to uncover with Dwayne Johnson. He plays as the video game version of Spencer and the character who drifted from his best friend Anthony, or Sir Fridge. The Great Fridge is also a football player and his jersey number is 94. He even has a 94 necklace. This brings us back to Dr. Bravestone. Dwayne Johnson played football in his college years for the University of Miami as number 94. When The Rock speaks, he does so in the third person.
For those of you who don't know,
The Rock has many nicknames.
This is also a common thing that Dr. Smolder Bravestone chooses to do.
This is the final level of the game. And I'm pretty sure this is a Bravestone thing.
Did he just refer to himself in the third person?
Fourth person, I think.
Oh, that's good then.
Most Easter eggs in our journey seem to point directly into the path of Dwayne Johnson. And if you look at the map, you will see we're not done.
A what? English, please.
We have a shiny green stone that was taken from a fictional god who rules the world.
I found it! I found it!
Sounds just like what happened in Moana. And not only did both movies share the actor Dwayne Johnson, they also both share the same ending, where the magic rock has to be returned back to the lowercase god in order for nature to return to its harmonic balance.
You're welcome.
Get on my back. What? I would rather die. Jump on my back. Nope, I'm going to die.
And as buff as the Rock is, it seems that Kevin Hart's candy cane can't be carried across the jungle without assistance. Since the treasure in this game is to find yourself and not a giant pile of gold, Sony had to find its own treasure. Therefore, we have an opportunity to show off Sony's sponsors, Apple, Dave & Buster's, and Perel. In fact, Perel even found itself in a little travel size on the back of a backpack. When Alex gets sucked into the game, he's essentially starting the game for everyone, and the year is 1996. Dwayne Johnson also became known as the wrestler The Rock for the first time in 1996. One of his famous moves was also Rock Bottom, which you see him use on one of the villains. The Rock also played in the movie Walking Tall, where he had a baseball bat and made home runs out of human bodies. But before he got the bat, he used a board. Just like in Jumanji, he found a board and made a home run. Jefferson Seaplane McDonough. What an honor it is to speak about him. You may know that this man is played by the actor Nick Jonas from the Jonas Brothers, but the character he plays holds secrets of his own. When he grows up, he looks like this.
What's with this guy?
But this guy is actually Colin Hanks, and Colin Hanks is the son of Tom Hanks. What does that have to do with Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle? We'll follow the map.
Oh, so you can't see this, but I can?
Colin Hanks is a dad in the movie. His dad in real life is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is the voice of Woody in Toy Story. Woody is owned by none other than Andy, and Andy is the name of Alex's son.
You have a family.
I do, yeah. This is Andy.
We're a family. We stay together.
I have spoken. Before Alex starts our adventure, we find him in the bedroom playing a video game. That video game is Sony's PlayStation, a very old game called Twisted Metal. He also happens to be playing as the biker, Mr. Grimm. In that game, Alex can fire weapons from a motorcycle, just like the villains did in Jumanji. Survey time! Ba-dum-bum. Today, Dino Master Plays asks you, if you played Jumanji, who would you pick? Dr. Bravestone, Mouse Finbar, Ruby Roundhouse, or Professor Shelley? And we'll put Seaplane in there too. If you followed along on our journey with the first Jumanji, you know that the game gets inspiration from the real-life victims it chooses to play with. In Welcome to the Jungle, they even take a moment to show us that the game is actually watching what he's playing, not just seeing the fact that he prefers a video game over a board game. That's right, Jumanji got inspiration from his real world. A fun fact about the explosions from the motorcycle rockets is that they're made up of animal manure.
That is one big pile of shit.
What he said. Another moment brought to you by real life is the final level. The main danger is the Jaguars, and if you look closely at the high school, you will see their mascot is indeed a jaguar. Since there's no one else in the room, to be honest, I was hesitant to watch the movie in fear that they would ruin the original like so many other franchises in the past. But when I finally watched Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, I was pleasantly surprised to find that they not only didn't take away from the original movie, but they simply added to it. There was also several moments where they paid tribute to the late Robin Williams for giving Jumanji the life that it has.
Who's this? Who's Alan Parrish?
Are you Alan Parrish?
Yeah.
When they get to the treehouse, we see a board where Alan carved his name, marking his territory.
He's the guy who built this place.
Wait, you mean other people have been stuck here too?
Yeah, I mean, this is Alan Parrish's house. I'm just living in it.
Later, when McDonough says this is Alan Parrish's house, I'm just living in it, that was not just a reference to the house, but to the game as well. Again, taking a moment to thank Robin Williams for the legend that he made. When they fight the Black Mamba, they find a game piece hidden in the basket. This is the game piece that Alan, or the great Robin Williams, used in the original game. That's why we see so many elephant references throughout the entire movie. Of course, it takes 4 to play a game, not just 1. Sarah played the white rhino, and we see an entire herd of white rhinos, while Judy was the crocodile, and we see crocodiles. Then lastly, we have Peter. He was a monkey, and we see a monkey. And the odd thing here is we only see one monkey in an entire jungle. Jungles should have a bunch of monkeys. This of course would support my conspiracy theory that the monkeys are actually people from the past who played the game and were turned into monkeys. Only inside the game they turn back into characters because they are slaves to the game. In Jumanji we maxed out at only 4 players, and Welcome to the Jungle we start off with 4 players, but we eventually find out that there's a 5th player in the same game. But just like Alan, he was missing since the very beginning. That is why when all the players are waiting to serve their punishment in what we think is just detention, there's an empty seat. Because for one of the players, their punishment has already begun. At the end of the movie, the camera zooms out and we get a chance to see the entire jungle. And if you look closely at the trails, you will see they are very similar to the paths found on the original board game. In the credits, we have another Easter egg referencing back to the first Jumanji. If you remember the dino duck that stole the board game from Alan, we see that same duck lurking around in the credits. In the first Jumanji, the game created the character Van Pelt to resemble Alan's dad because Alan was afraid that he would grow up to be just like his father. In Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, the main character Dr. Bravestone is scared of rodents. Thus, the game made Van Pelt entirely out of rodents and creepy crawlers.
That's what you get! You laugh at me, you die!
Another great adventure of the past is the Jurassic Park franchise. They too filmed in the exact same location where most of the filming for Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle took place.
This is going to be levels. In order to finish the game, you got to complete...
Visitor center's just about a mile over that rise there. Just keep... Can you tell me what they are?
It's blocking this way.
There's also a lot of similarities here between the 2 movie franchises. They both end up in the same location running from a villain, and they both have to jump off a cliff to avoid being killed by that villain. Another moment borrowed from the Jurassic franchise was in Jurassic Park 3. We find our hero trapped by fierce predators on all sides of them, and no hope for escape. Only then do we see our hero rescued by none other than the missing boy with a smoke bomb.
Come on, come with me, hurry!
Who ends up taking them to their secret hideout.
Down here, come on.
Which is weird, because it's like the most important thing in Jumanji, and it's huge.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Dwight.
The mouse is a strong, powerful warrior, not to be underestimated, unless of course there's cake. Then in that case, the mouse is very scared. If you look on Fridge's vest, you will find a no cake patch. Anthony is also a valued football player for his school, and given the nickname Fridge, or also known as Refrigerator.
See you later, refrigerator.
There's a famous football player by the name of William Perry. He too was known as the Refrigerator.
William the Refrigerator Perry carried the ball. I think that might be a message.
Professor Shelley Osborne is played by the famous actor Jack Black. You may know him from The House with a Clock in Its Walls, or traveling further into time, School of Rock. Or even further than that, he was in a commercial back in 1982 for Atari with the game called Pitfall. If you look closely, the safari hat that he wore in that commercial is the same style of the hat that he's wearing in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. Jack Black also starred in the video game Brutal Legend, which is basically a weird game for die-hard rock and rollers. At one point in the game, there was these monster things chasing him while he's on a motorcycle. and he uses a flamethrower to make a circle around the monsters, entrapping them. Sound familiar? This is the same exact way that Dr. Bravestone traps the Jaguars. The connection gets even deeper though. Jack Black opens for the video game going into a record store talking about music stuff. Sounds just like what happened in High Fidelity, and Jack Black also plays in High Fidelity. There's also a scene in that movie where Jack Black is amazed by a woman who's singing "Baby, I Love Your Way." Don't worry, I won't sing it here.
I want to date a musician.
Ooh, baby, I love your way.
This is like a level 3 Easter egg because we see him in Jumanji watching a girl in amazement while the song is being played, "Baby, I Love Your Way."
That's our girl.
Yes, queen!
I always hated that song. Yeah.
Martha ends up picking Ruby Roundhouse, which is one of the toughest characters you can probably choose. I said one of the toughest. Ruby Roundhouse was also modeled after several female video game characters in the 90s, more specifically Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
This is my wife, Martha.
Martha also shares the same name as Peter's mom in the original Jumanji.
Marsha, Marsha, Marsha!
I said Martha. Also, being someone with glasses, I realize how much of a problem glasses can be with reflections. But when Bethany is teaching Martha how to be sexy, if you look at her glasses, you will see the camera. And they were aware of this reflection problem too. That's why when they were all in the Jeep, if you look closely, she has no lenses inside her glasses. Sorry, sometimes the nerd side of me leaks out. Also, I have to point this out. Look what we have here. We have a creepy house, a yellow rain jacket. The only thing we're missing is a drain, a red balloon, and a clown.
Okay!
Now we can't forget the coolest character of all, Nigel Billingsley, the NPC field guide. Maybe one of the most important characters in the movie, quite frankly, if you ask me. If not for him, no one would know what they needed to do. A lot of inspiration for the movie took place from events in the 90s. Back then, there was a TV show called Relic Hunter where Cindy Fox would hunt for treasure like a female version of Indiana Jones. She also had a sidekick named Nigel Bailey. Not quite the same, but possibly part of where they drew inspiration. When Nigel exits the players from the game with a firm handshake, he says to them, "I will miss you the most."
I'll miss you the most, my
Get me the hell out of here.
This is a reference to Wizard of Oz when Dorothy told the Scarecrow she would miss him the most.
I think I'll miss you most of all.
If you notice in the first Jumanji, they had an Easter egg to the Wizard of Oz, and now we have another Easter egg to the Wizard of Oz. This is because of how similar the series of Jumanji is to Wizard of Oz, where the main character goes on a journey of self-discovery. Then of course there's me, Crazy Nate, your Easter egg guide. I too have strengths and weaknesses. Select what movie you'd like to journey to next and discover all of its secrets. If you wish to leave the game, you must like the video and comment the words "I subscribe" and shake my hand. Remember, you only have one life to live, so share a smile. They are contagious. G'day, fellow gents and gentlettes. Are you ready to embark on another adventure?
Hey, share a smile. They're contagious. Can you imagine a day without smiling? That would be outrageous. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with Crazy Nate. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if he left you feeling great. Have fun and we'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe.
So sadly, this is where we part.